So, welcome. Good to see you, Erica, Cam, everyone here. Wonderful. Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Well, this is another meeting in this series, which we already completed. We are already done with everything. We're already on the other side, communicating towards the answer. And of course, it is a kind of a theme of a series that is never ending. So we will continue if we are guided to. And yet we keep it open for a moment how we are guided and announce it then on the website. And personally, we try to contact everyone personally, Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever is possible. Ne? Or you can always look it up on the website and see when there's a date there when our next episode will fall in place. One thing is for sure clear. There's an immense value in our coming together and looking at things. And this is, we all feel it and we know there's something so much bigger going on that touches us and unravels us literally, is part of the undoing and just opens us up to become very sensitive to everything that we perceive, that we experience. And in that sense, we become also sensitive and sensible to the call for help that we see represented in the reflection of ourselves, which means in all the world we see. And so we chose today the theme, how to truly help a brother. And if the title would be How to Help a Brother, we would probably talk about something completely different. But since it is truly help, and true help must have something to do that we want to accept true help for ourselves. That means we want that this help comes from out of time, from God's mind, is His answer literally, and will, of course, in that sense, reflect what we think, what we believe, what we are, and who we are. And so I wasn't even aware of, but in my last session in German, um, about a few days ago, I was also touching that theme. And later on, I noticed that this was also an approach of already teaching myself and opening perspectives up in myself. And yet, I'm sure there will be parallels and yet something completely new, how we want to look at certain perspectives. So I'm asking you, Erica and Cam, for your first perspective about this theme, please.
Okay. Um, so when I look, I see that there's an excitement, um, almost like I'm looking for opportunities where someone needs help, because in that I have a chance to demonstrate the truth in a way. Like, it gives me an opportunity to solidify what I know is true about myself. So there was one aspect of it that I felt, I've noticed I'm almost eager to perceive that someone needs help. Like, I'm looking for opportunities that I can participate with that. Okay, so that's one part of it. And I questioned, okay, is that ego, or is that me wanting to teach? Is that me very much wanting to join in that way and deliver that? Okay, so there's that. Another aspect of this that comes up is, say there is a brother who has no encounter with the Course in Miracles, not on the awakening procedure yet at all. So I perceive. I've experienced it that if I try to go right to the top and deliver something, it makes more pain. It comes off that I'm not being compassionate. If you tell a brother, hey, that's your projection, they're going to say, that's crazy. And I've had that happen. And so for me, the question comes, how do I be compassionate and truly compassionate? Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like the compassion is felt, but it's true compassion. It's not the bullshit of the world. Like, oh, it's so bad. Yeah, we are miserable. We're gonna die. I know, brother. Here's a little band-aid till next time. So those are my two things. Thank you.
Yeah, we will definitely look at that. And in other words, what you also express is that we do become sensible, would that be, to sometimes less words are more in the communication. But we will look at that too, because there are definitely different perspectives of where we need the miracle for ourselves and where we accept also that the miracle will happen no matter how it looks like. So we will go into that too. Cam, what is your first view of it?
Yeah, my perception of this first and foremost was the correcting your brother in a sense. And I know that there's text in the course that speaks against the correction, but that one, I guess, is more of me asking how to walk through that and cease there being something that truly isn't right, maybe, even though that might be contradicting in a sense, but the correction aspect, because you need to share, you need to join, and there has to be some communication, whether it's on a soul level or on a verbal level. And so the correction. So yeah, I know I can't really speak much on that now, but that's sort of where my mind is.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that will come in also when we are looking at where we are guided to and what we truly have to offer, because that whole theme is, of course, and that's where I went into the German session, into the offering the Holy Instant. Like what you're saying is the only thing that counts is a basis, a fundament of a Holy Instant, a connection, a joining in mind, and recognizing that we are not separate. And that's definitely where this whole theme goes. But we want to look at and start probably where first the rubber hits the road, which is what about when there's a deck in the mind? When it looks like a deck, when it looks like challenge, when it looks like uh, as you mentioned, Erica, I have no idea what you're talking about. That just makes me upset, what you're saying. So when this reflection comes, which is basically already a response of attack, you're already attacked in that literally. And that needs a new interpretation in us. And only when we deeply understand that and can feel that, that the attack is actually the call for help, then we have a chance that something different can come out of it. As long as attack is still perceived, I'm personally attacked, I'm vulnerable, now I feel hurt, and so on. I'm lost. There's definitely I even made more distance to that holy instant through that interpretation. But if I learn to recognize, that's a recognition in our mind, to recognize that an attack is a call for help, a call for love, then it might be a game changer. And I might reconsider to go into personal feelings of shutting down, or if I stay open and can, with the help of the Holy Spirit, offer a completely renewal of that communication. And that maybe that guides me. Those are a few sentences still which I shared. Those were the last sentences I shared in the German. That's also available with English subtitles that everybody knows on my channel on YouTube and on the website. And those last words were about where Jesus talks about that the human consciousness tries to maintain and the maintenance would be the refusal. And he uses here exactly the word recognition. To refuse to recognize a brother's appeal, the appeal for help. For only by answering his appeal can you be helped, he says. Only I can be helped if I do not refuse the recognition of the appeal of my brother for help. That means I first need to recognize that there is a call for help. And and deny him your help, and you will not recognize God's answer to you. That's the inevitable result, that we always forget, but it's very important to remember. I will not recognize what is God's answer for me if I do not answer his appeal for his call for help, if I deny it, if I put it aside, or if I join on the ego level with that. The Holy Spirit doesn't need your help in interpreting motivation, but you do need His. And then he says, only appreciation. So here's already an indication how to set the mind and how to direct the mind. And we know that everybody knows it who has at least started with A Course in Miracles, that there is an emphasis on gratitude. Also in that October festival that we are having here in Wisconsin Dells, where everyone is invited, a reunion, it will has the title, A Chorus of Gratitude. So it's about our gratitude and finding that and sharing that. Only appreciation is an appropriate response to your brother. Only appreciation. I have to find something, even if there's a deck in the appearance, I have to find something I can be appreciative about. Gratitude is due him for both his loving thoughts and his appeals for help. I should be grateful that there's an appeal for the call for help. I should be grateful that I can actually realize somewhere in his mind there are loving thoughts. That's what he says here. For both are capable of bringing love into your awareness if you perceive them truly. And that's where we want to end up, of course. We want to end up with love. And so I think that is a good set for our mind to put ourselves with our personal feelings for a moment aside, or give that immediately to the Holy Spirit and ask Him, let me stand for a moment still in a certain distance so that I can see that there's something else in my brother I can be grateful for.
Okay, so I want to slow it down just to go through this. Okay, so someone's asking for help, and I feel the Holy Spirit is guiding me. Okay, I'm not doing ego correction. Oh, you're wrong, but I truly feel joined, and this is what's coming. And then a moment later, I perceive they're saying, no, we don't like what you said. In that moment, I need the help because I'm looking at it from a standpoint of I'm attacked. So just in terms of space and time communication, there might be no more I can say at that point, because until I can find that space of correction and get back to seeing the situation truly, I can't really be of service. Is that what we're
Yeah,
talking here? Okay,
absolutely.
okay, so I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, like the next question would be, what is it in me that feels attacked or that can be attacked? I have to go right there in my own self-inquiry and look very straightforward. What is that is possibly and can possibly be attacked? And if I see that there are certain ideas of myself that want to defend the self-identity, the personality, the being right in the situation or knowing it better, then of course it will be felt. And but you see also that could happen in an instant, and it could be released and liberated by working with the Holy Spirit. Immediately seeing it, giving it to Him, and again I'm completely free of it. Né? And can go back and see, no, I can be truly helpful, and I want to be truly helpful.
Yeah, thank you. And I was just seeing that it might also reveal that where I seemingly thought I was coming from the Holy Spirit, perhaps I was not. Because if I come with an
Right,
attachment, that
right.
they're going to say, "Oh, you're such a great healer. Wow." Then there was a problem to begin with.
Right.
Yes, I need to just get straight in my mind. So I see, yeah, I am very attached to people seemingly wanting my help.
Yeah, and that
So
again, that needs the admission. Well, now who needs help? First of all, as you said, okay, it's me who needs help. And then again, the admission. On that level where I feel attacked, I cannot help myself.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
I'm the antithesis, I'm the denial of that help now for myself. That's what he says then further down. Do not attempt in help, under quote, a brother in your way. That is what you're saying. Né? That's not the Holy Spirit. That's already in my way. Né? For you cannot help yourself, he adds on. Né? But hear his call for the help of God, and you will recognize your own need for the Father. So I will recognize that no, I need the connection first with my Creator, with the true help and its source, and that will again renew the or reset the stage.
I want to let Can speak, but there's one more thing really. So help me about, so this impulse that I have, and I've had this for a long time, that I want people to show up that are looking for me to help them. And I don't think it's purely ego, just to say. I think there's
Mhm.
genuinely something where it gives me a chance to reinforce this for myself. So I see an attraction in the dream. I want this, I'm looking. Even I worked as a healer because I want to be this. What is that about? Can you speak more to that? Because I don't think it's purely ego.
Me neither. And I think we can perfectly well uh, sense if somebody wants the help of the ego or is directing towards a true answer of the Holy Spirit. We can sense that. Né? It's a certain energy of drawing the brother on one side. You can feel that if
Yeah,
be with me and in the condemnation of the other, no, when it is like relationship conflicts and so on. No?
yeah.
And so that's in my mind very obvious. But I agree fully that uh, when we can see that there is an asking for help from the heart, as he also says in the course, then this is, of course, directed to the Holy Spirit in us. Then they direct it to the Holy Spirit in you and want you actually uh, to reflect their mind in a fastest way so that they can arrive at the liberation of that perception. And so again, this is only for us. That's only for me here to see, am I letting myself be pulled into some ego crap, or do I see that this is clearly an asking from the heart to the Holy Spirit, and that will come if I want to have it from the Holy Spirit. Né? If I want the help from God, then of course also the reflection of the other will show me that there's something wanted that comes from beyond.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
The thing that I want to put on this is that there's experiences that I've come across where I perceive every day that there's resistance from a brother, there isn't willingness, and so the way to push that aside is to first myself become vulnerable, like you were saying, Devavon, and having that be the practice that is put in place. And sometimes the crying, the tears, the emotion, the visual effect of that really allows for that space to open up. And then that energy can then be felt a lot easier from brother to brother. And so then that space is available. And with that available space, then there can be more of a joining and more trust and more of a reinforced connection is. And then there doesn't need to be correction, is I guess now that I'm speaking to myself and understanding this a little better here. So a lot
Mhm.
of this is what I'm speaking on is just daily practice and moment to moment every, and for example, last night there was some story being shared, and the moment I heard it, without a doubt asked the Holy Spirit to help me understand this and clear this up. And I could feel that attachment not gripping me, which was something that was really great to feel and to experience that. And then it allowed more trust and that connection, that joining with my brother.
Yeah, and there's some more, of course, to recognize because the Holy Spirit shows us where we do then the work within ourselves, né? As we were pointing out first, to see things as they are and to see, okay, there is an apparent attack, a seeming attack, né?
Mm.
But do I jump on it? I do recognize, okay, that it appears like, or in my category, it's like an attack thought, né? And then I can work with that if I want to go with that, or if I say, no, I want to, I'm in the alignment, I want to be in the alignment of the Holy Spirit. That means I cannot see attack. Né? I need to look beyond attack. The same is with what you mentioned with that example with that brother. What you're actually seeing is a form of attack which is actually in its basis fear. You have to see and recognize that there's fear. You have to see it as it is. And only when you recognize there's fear, then you can start with your work. And that work will then change also your communication and your expression. And of course, at some point, also the reflection of that brother. So I'm I'm still in that chapter 12 in that first section, and this is later on than in the end of paragraph 8. And listen to this. Yeah, it's exactly the answer that we want to hear from him. That's a Course in Miracles. It gives us really the answer what we are talking about. No? So we have repeatedly, we are in chapter 12, this is page 261, we have repeatedly emphasized that Jesus says the need to recognize fear and face it without disguise as a crucial step in the undoing of the ego. Yeah. So this is, I need to first recognize that. I need to recognize this is fear. Yeah. And and this fear, I have to face it without disguise, without making it nicer or pushing it away or
Mm.
pretending it's not fear and interpreting it in any different way, you know. And saying this is also just love. No, fear is not love. Yeah, fear, fear is the opposing concept of to love. Né? He continues, consider how well the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the motives of others will serve you then. Yeah, if you recognize fear, not disguise it. Having taught you to accept only loving thoughts, that's what we have been taught, né? To accept only loving thoughts in others and to regard everything else as an appeal for help. Here we are again. Yeah. We are supposed to accept only the loving thoughts in others and to regard everything else as an appeal for help. He has taught you that fear itself is an appeal for help. That's all I need to recognize. Fear is an appeal for help. It's a cry for help. This is what recognizing fear really means. If you do not protect it, he will reinterpret it. That's where the Holy Spirit then comes in. He will reinterpret it. That is the ultimate value in learning to perceive attack as a call for love. Oh my God. He helps me that I see that the attack thought, that any form of fear is the call for love. Why wouldn't I answer the call for love with an answer which is love? No? That's really what the work is.
I mean, it's challenging because you've spelled it out very clearly. We've spelled it out before that anytime I'm seeing attack, it's not justified in any form. That's not the truth. But when I have a look, I see it all over the place. And I think there's many cases where it's where I'm justified in making distance from that brother or keeping that crazy brother away, or yeah, they actually don't really get it, so I'm going to stay away from them. But it that's like mind work though. That doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't we don't know how it looks in the form, but what's going on in my mind so often is blaming, constant blaming out there. And that's what I was hearing in, yeah, yeah, I don't know what to say. It just seems insurmountable. That's the feeling that I have right now
Yeah.
as we're discussing is like, wow, good luck, Erica. And I know that's ego, but it's like just 24/7 uh believing in the illusion mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, and our responsibility is in that sense to offer miracles. Ne? It's just what does it mean? Ne? That's what we are looking at. Ne? What does it mean to offer miracles? Maybe have a good example just comes into my mind. 2 days ago, somebody contacted me via social media. It's a person I wasn't in contact for many, many years. She wrote me during COVID once and asked me for help to look at things, and she has also problems in relationships. She has a small child, 2 years old, and uh, and she asked me in order to have a miracle for the problems that she has with the father, uh, to to just share light. She expressed it. And so we made, since there's a time difference, she lives in Europe. She asked me for a certain time where we could join, basically without connection, just in quietness of the mind, and be quiet in the mind. Yeah. So I agreed to that because it's a request of a brother, and even if I don't even know who that person is, no? But I know it's myself and it's for me, no? And so that's more than enough. So we made an agreement, and and so we had then on my time it was like late night, and on her time it was early morning. No? And I put on some music, and we were basically just we had an agreement to be quiet together, no? Without an appearance in form. And I had the most wonderful experience in the light, no? And just extending the light with the ideas that were presented. But anyway, after that one experience, she wrote me the next day, yes, I have experienced immense healing and an opening in that whole thing, but I get the message to continue for at least for 3 days. So would you agree to do that for another day and for another 2 days? So I said, yes, of course. So tonight will be the third night, ne? And I already see forward of that immense experience I had within my mind, ne? Of basically receiving the help and seeing also how one mind operates in the extension what is God's light and love, ne? And that it has really nothing to do with the storyline and appearances. It really just works when we have in our mind clear that this is not just possible, but this is what's all the time going on. That we are joined in mind and we can choose the form as we want it. But that would be one form of how to share miracles. That we maybe with those brothers we make some agreement, not even sitting together. Everybody is in his own room or in his own little cave, wherever that is, and just takes time in blessing and sharing extending that experience. What do you think, Cam? Does that
No, I'm
Do you
into
think
that.
that's
I
possible?
feel, yeah, of course. And I love that part. Like what you said earlier, sometimes it's just not speaking, and that's the way I can communicate in the best way, in the highest. So for that lands for me very, very strongly. And so then there's another aspect of that too, is through the daily, as I come into work, for example, as I park my car, I sit there and I connect with the workers, and I say hello. And that was a practice that was shared in another class that we took, but to have that soul connection, that spirit connection first, really allows for something different to be available. And so in that turn, I don't need to sit and talk. I don't need to go ask. I don't need to have so much effort put forward. I can just be
Yeah.
steady and still and then be more available. And it makes a difference in my mind. It makes a big difference. So I love that so much.
Yeah, and also it really emphasizes and shows that this is really for ourselves, né? This is
Yeah.
really for me, né? And but it depends what is it I'm thinking? What is it I'm opening up in my mind? Because that will then reflect in the differences. So it's really not about having the right words or uh, wanting to demonstrate a teacher role or a teacher identity. No? We're constantly looking at that in our sessions. No? It's not about that. It's about what am I willing to change for myself, how to think and what to extend by my thoughts without needing any words. Yeah. And that will make the difference. And I give you here some directives which we all can use for these practical situations. And that is at the very end of the sixth section in chapter 27. And he talks here about the one capitalized, no? Because that would be how we experience the Holy Spirit in us and accept Him as our guide who guides us through the day. No? And so he talks here about that there is the one in us and how he deals with the different forms of suffering, how they appear in the world. No? And I made a few points there where I can use it for myself as clear directives what my responsibility is, how to think and where to go with that, what I still perceive as we said now, attack thought, fear, and now we have suffering altogether. And he says here, yet to the one, and this is what the one does in us, who sends forth miracles to bless the world. That's our job. That's our job. To be a miracle worker is to send miracles to bless the world. We all can do that. That's I can sit with my co-workers there and bless them, and bless the whole situation and the world. So that's what the one perceives. A tiny step of pain, a little worldly pleasure, and the throes of death itself are but a single sound, a call for healing, and a plaintive, and he calls it here, cry. It's a cry for help within a world of misery. So this is what we are supposed to recognize. And he goes on, it is their sameness that the miracle attests, it is their sameness that it proves. The laws that call them different, and here again, another practical function, how we should deal with it, are dissolved and shown as powerless. And maybe I might need some expression for that because the ego will defend it, how powerful it is. Our job is to show it's powerless. Yeah. And maybe it is an expression for myself where I would just say, this is completely in my understanding and in my recognition of that problem, there's nothing going on or there is no power in it. There might be, again, the ego might jump up and say, what are you saying? But we need to sit that through at some point. At some point, this needs not to do anything with that. But then in my mind, I can go, Holy Spirit, you take care of that to change that, to reinterpret that. I'm obviously not heard in that moment, yeah. But at some point, that brother will hear you. But this is our function, how to deal with it, to dissolve it in our mind and to show it as powerless. The purpose of a miracle is to accomplish this, is to accomplish, to show that all these ego demonstrations are powerless. And God Himself has guaranteed the strength of miracles for what they witness to. And here is again what you were also mentioning, Cam, being, yeah? Be you then witness to the miracle. This is our job, to be witness to the miracle and not the laws of sin. There is no need to suffer anymore, but there is need that you be healed because the suffering and sorrow of the world have made it deaf to its salvation and deliverance. The resurrection of the world awaits your healing and your happiness that you may, and here's another one, demonstrate the healing of the world, right? This is only how what the resurrection of the world is awaiting us, each and every one, to demonstrate the healing of the world. The holy instant will replace all sin if you but carry its effects with you, and no one will elect to suffer more. What better function could you serve than this? Be healed that you may heal, and suffer not the laws of sin to be applied to you, and truth will be revealed to you who chose to let love's symbols take the place of sin. See, this is something done in our mind. Those symbols of sin, of the separation of the ego, I need to replace for myself in my mind with the symbols of love. And that again will turn my motivation to demonstrate that this is not so, as it is demonstrated in the denial or in the uh, stupidity of the human mind not to want to accept the truth, because it's about the demonstration that this is a call for help and there's an answer given, which is the healing of the world, which I demonstrate then, at least for myself. I might just talk that to myself. No, I'm on the side of healing the world. I'm a emissary of light, an emissary of that healing capacity that comes from God Himself. and even just saying that to myself in quietness, it might work miracles that we have never seen before. And that's indeed the only reason we are here. We are here to reconsider our function and our role, why we are here. And the faster we remember that we are here to only bless, to demonstrate that healing and to be witness of the good and only good what the miracle brings about, then the world can dissolve and we can experience a liberation of it. Otherwise, we are just part of it, and the vestiges are death. It's, there's no difference than what we lived through thousands of lifetimes. And, that's what Jesus says in the end. "Ah, how long, Holy Son of God? How long?"
There's something else. I could like not talk about it, but I think it's um late you touched on this already, but lately I've found that sometimes the best help is when a brother doesn't answer me, actually. I'm learning this. It's like I have a long thing, and this happened last week. Somebody just didn't answer. It's like, and I felt, oh, they don't like me. Like the Holy Spirit told them not to engage with me. But that's BS. I could see they were looking. I could see what they were doing. I could feel it. And I know what it was. And it was the best gift to me. It was like, no, brother, let's see. So it's sometimes, so valuable. And I get afraid not to answer. Nowadays it's always texting. So I'll feel, oh, if I'm already afraid or I'm already so attached to the outcome of it, then yeah, I mean, we looked at that in the beginning. I think it's yeah, there's ego stuff so much.
Yeah, that's a good recognition, Erika, to recognize, okay, there's no answer giving on the conceptual level. I could immediately use that and use it to become silent myself, and see, okay, actually, that's the invitation. That's our appointment, our date, to just be quiet right now, just have a quiet time. Yes, something more I want to share. That's the last thing it was given me. It's at the very end of the teacher's manual, and it has the title As for the Rest. And in pretty much at the end, in the sixth paragraph, where he gives us the perspective of the Holy Spirit, um, and that the Holy Spirit doesn't depend on our words. Yeah. And that he says, God has given him, the Holy Spirit, the power to translate your prayers of the heart into his language. Yeah. That's really what Holy Spirit is. And we are supposed to live up to that too, to be basically translators of what the world puts out and is demonstration of separation into to translate it into his language, into the language of the Holy Spirit, which is the language of the heart. He understands, here it is again, that an attack is a call for help, and he responds with help accordingly. God would be cruel if he let your words replace his own. Now, with the ego words would replace the words of God, and then the ego word would be reality and would have value. A loving father doesn't let his child harm himself. See, that might be the answer what you mentioned first, also, Erica. No? So that will be a recognition in my mind. No? When I turn to the Holy Spirit and put myself to the Holy Spirit, is a loving father does not let his child harm himself or choose his own destruction, yeah, because that's what the ego's doctrine is. He may ask for injury, but his father will protect him still. And how much more than this does your father love his son? Remember, you are his completion and his love. Remember, your weakness is his strength. But do not read this hastily or wrongly. If his strength is in you, what you perceive as your weakness is but illusion, and he has given you the means to prove it so. Ask all things of his teacher, capitalized, and all things are given you, nor not in the future, but immediately, now. God doesn't wait, for waiting implies time, and he is timeless. Forget your foolish images, your sense of frailty, and your fear of harm, your dreams of danger and selected wrongs. God knows but his Son, and as he was created, so he is. In confidence I place you in his hands, and I give thanks for you that this is so. This is Jesus speaking. In confidence, he places us in the hands of the Holy Spirit, and Jesus himself gives thanks for us that this is so. So this is complete trust in us. We
Yeah,
just have to step up and remember, 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 remember every moment.
yeah, thank you for reading that. I felt a lot of like what you said, complete trust in us. Like it's not about me trusting in my he said, but like you said, remember. And that's the key.
Yeah.
And thank you, because I have my brothers here who helped me a lot, so much. I'm really thankful.
Yeah, we all have. No?
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's an awesome thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also always shows me where I would like to settle on the human level is just in littleness. And he
Yeah.
shows me, hey, there's a whole big thing going on where you're already part of it. Why don't you just join us there? No? And instead of staying there in your little thoughts of what you're doing here in this little world, in your little dream, doing nothing literally, no? When the master teacher was always, he was confronting brothers with the, come up here with me, he would say. And that, oh, okay, it would like shake us up. No? It was, okay, there's a bigger thing going on, no? where I can be part of it, and indeed I'm already part of it. No?
Mm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Mm, mm.
And the help of the brother is also, no, when it looks like attack or challenge. And if I remember that this is actually a call for love, I'm immediately directed. Do I have love to respond with love? That's a good question.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
thank
I
you.
consider that I am that love? I have enough of that love? Or do I still, no, I'm in lack of love. I have nothing to give. I have to defend myself. I have to shut down. I have to escape. I have to hide and all that. That's all the expression. I think I don't have love to give. No, no, I have love to give. No? And my response is supposed to be love. That's what the Holy Spirit's interpretation is. And I don't need words for that, but it is an action of extension of my soul, heart, and mind. And then, of course, if I'm an extension of love, I can. That's not the concept that, hey, there's nothing to fear. Bring it on. There's nothing to fear. No? Wow. No? I think I made progress. No?
Yeah.
Some of the hardest stuff is when there's not the sharing, there's not the willingness. And so to look at myself when I interpret that out there isn't willingness to join. Yes, I can see that it's challenging me to press myself into that space of love. And like what you just said, when you know there's a lack of love, and to really recognize that feeling when you see someone there moving fast or moving in a totally different direction from where that willingness and love space is to join there. That for me is some of the hardest, and I get very stuck when I see the lack of willingness in myself out there. And so
Yeah, yeah,
to
that
push.
needs an answer, of course. No? And if we invite the Holy Spirit to that, and if we do that also in those situations, then He does show us that, first of all, it only depends on me. Yeah? Do I want to join? And is that my decision? And if I extend and apply that decision of joining, then it's impossible actually that that brother, he, she would not join. Yeah. So it's impossible. When I decide to join, it's impossible that that brother would not join. If it seems still that it is not going on, then the Holy Spirit might show me, do you have an idea about joining that is based on perceptual evidence, on a perceptual objective reality, né? How it should look like in the appearance, in my perception, what my eyes see, my ears hear, né? Wrong, ding, 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 wake up. There's no evidence in joining except an experience within myself of fulfillment, of oneness. That's the only evidence that we can say that that is joining. Everything else is my idea that needs to be undone. If I have an idea how joining should look like in the dream, it's not, it's uh, first of all, on that level where I think that brother should join me, that brother doesn't need to join me because that's not the true basis for joining. I should be grateful when that brother doesn't join me there, because that's a limitation. So,
Mhm.
so then there's the opening. Okay, then if that joining on that level doesn't work out, maybe there's another level where this joining is supposed to happen. And again, it's my decision to open my mind up to that greater, uh, where where joining is impossible, where it's always happening. Yeah? That's why he says pretty, I think it's in lesson 15 or 16, where it says, minds are joined already. Ne? Minds are joined. That's fact of the matter. Ne? I just need to remove those ideas that I put there for evidence that would show me then now I believe that minds are joined. Ne? The only evidence is our experience within ourselves. Ne? That's the only evidence, and that's the only thing that counts. And if I'm not in that experience, I can again choose a new, and I have to choose a new and invite that experience for myself again. If I'm in that experience, it will communicate automatically. It's impossible then that the other wouldn't join. So it's not really so difficult, no? But I need to see it exactly as it is. No? And you see, it's not very comfortable to see those things.
Hold on. So the only evidence that matters is the experience that I'm having. It's not in the
Exactly,
form.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
well, this is
If
another
I
one.
feel peace inside, if I feel there's something laughing, or maybe sometimes it's just I feel the joke of it and it makes me laugh. No?
Yeah,
And that's it. That's it. I'm in heaven in that moment. No?
yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, just seeing how attached I am to there will
Right.
be it will look like this.
Right.
Everything will look completely peaceful. It will show me,
Right.
but that's
Again, what we are pointing out right now is the importance of the mind training. Only
yeah,
the mind training
yeah,
can facilitate that. I cannot facilitate that for myself. Only if I'm active changing my mind about what I see and everyone and everything I see, then this is possible. Yeah.
yeah,
Because otherwise those are perceptual realities we put there for thousands of years.
yeah,
That's I'm not willing to give them up by myself. I need a miracle by that through the change of mind, the Holy Spirit replaces it. That's the only way to come to a
yeah.
different perspective.
Yeah, thank you for saying it like that. It's a total addiction. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, to the past, no? To the past evidence, because there I have at least something I can hold on. I
yeah,
know what is evidence, no? Who am I if I lose my perspective of evidence for anything here, no? That's where the journey starts. Up home, let's get into his spirit. Thank you, my friends.
thank you,
Yes,
everyone.
I
Thank
thank
you.
think
you
it's
very
time to
much.
Thanks,
practice, and
everyone.
whenever the
Yeah,
time comes, maybe
yeah,
some weeks will pass, but I think we will join again. But
yeah,
summer has passed and school time starts again, and it was a really great series. And once in a while, we will come back and have a look at things. No?
yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
Thank you.
you.
Yes, thank you. Good to see you all.
Good to see you all. Let's put on the microphones for everyone and to bless each other, and then we go out of here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Jackson, this is it. Why not?